Please go ahead, Aina. You are live now.
Thank you, sir. Unfortunately, Rajput sir is not here today with us due to some prior engagement. So I welcome you all for today's capacity building series on Atmanirbhar Bharat. As we all are aware of the clarion call for Atmanirbhar Bharat with the slogan of Be Vocal for Local that has been given to us by our Honorable Prime Minister. This has envisaged a great opportunity to strengthen brand India and will act as a catalyst for domestic companies which are endowed with unmatched talent that is able to outperform the competition given a level playing field. The mission is supplemented and restructured, including supply chain reforms that are going on and to impact and promote manufacturing in India, primarily Indian market, and then also sourcing for international market. Time is opportune for all the organizations to facilitate focused promotion strategies like Make in India and thus benefit the Indian economy and mark their presence globally. However, currently our Indian talent pool requires to harness an essential skill set to diminish the skill gap. Post-pandemic, the skills that are growing in demand are to be combined with the technical knowledge and soft skill sets for a precise future vision. The skill development and enhancement is a prominent way to generate employment and other beneficial opportunities for our country's talent pool. Supporting their skills through technical and professional education and training will help close this well recognized skill gap and will ultimately help the overall development of the nation. To be self-reliant and empowered as a citizen necessitates the same for the nation and needs to break free from this. Honorable Prime Minister's Vocal for Local campaign and other initiatives are well laden to promote self-reliance, employability, better status, and welfare of the civic. Investing in skill development is one of the most urgent and effective means to drive alleviation of poverty and to sustain the economic growth. Currently, workforce should be supplemented via modular skills training. Our young generations are vital for our futures, and by championing their skills through technical, vocational education, training, and development, it is the need of the hour. The Skilled Task Force of India and its economic participation is imperative for the empowerment of our nation, and thereby strengthening and enabling them can help to exert their positive influence on the society. As you all know, Mr. Kishore Kapoor, who led part one of this session, is a business leadership coach and a lead facilitator of TrueBiz Learning Info Solutions, a premium corporate training company of India. Key areas of her expertise and skills are business and sales strategy, managerial development, innovation, culture and strategy, holistic leadership transformation, vision, mission, and value orientation, problem solving and decision making at CXO level, marketing strategy analysis, and high impact. Kishore sir has been actively involved in conceptualizing, coaching, and implementation of learning interventions for organizations like ITC, Coca-Cola, Sabaros, Ministry of Tourism, Marico, Asian Paints, Cargill Foods, to name a few. His interest also lies deeply in understanding the challenges of underperforming teams and conduct interventions for large-scale impact. As a business coach, he has helped develop resilient, fearless business leaderships. He believed tough times are opportunity and not an excuse. Hence, business leaders, individuals, and sales team develop winning streak in doing best under his mentoring, training, and guidance. The first part of his session was laden with the emphasis over the emotional intelligence and its impact over the individual's communication and ability to inculcate skills to convey their insights and vision in the best possible manner. The session also covered comprehensively about the ways to manage stress and how it can be devastating at times. Various anger coping mechanisms were also discussed. A person who is soundly trained in communication skills can benefit the organization and unlock excellence in their path. Various leading concepts were discussed from the disciplines of behavioral sciences, psychology, sociology, and communication. Sciences like iceberg theory, 4 C's of communication, self awareness, and self management, social awareness, relationship management, etc. In this globalized world where we continuously strive for growth and success, our companies and organizations are also in the need of a personnel who can provide them with such benefits leading towards the accomplishment of the desired goals. One of such skills are communication skills, comprising of comprehensive and suggest that emotional intelligence of an individual. With the effective communication skills and its training, an individual can mend the ladder of the success in their life. For any team or department in an organization, the adhesiveness that holds the team together is open and transparent communication. The importance of communication skills can't be stressed enough in a professional setting. The way employees handle their email communication, deliver their presentation to their clients, or interact with each other on a daily basis ultimately determines their work performance. Whether it's education or work, the effective communication skills are required to progress in our careers. For a decision maker, it's even more essential to recognize the importance of communication. If you want to drive peak performance from your workplace and to ensure that your students gets the best job offers, you must invest in this skill development. In respect of this background, ASSOCHAM has organized today's session on the importance of effective communication for business leaders and budding entrepreneurs. With these words, I would like to welcome Kishore sir and with his sound expertise to educate the attendees whilst making everyone aware about the theme for which everyone is present here today. And I would once again like to welcome all our participants and I hope that this training session will be encouraging and fruitful. Thank you so much. Over to you, Kishore sir.
Thank you, Aina, for a detailed background. And thank you, ASSOCHAM. Thank you, everyone in ASSOCHAM and all the participants. Warm welcome to this session, which is the second in the series. First, we had on 5th February, where we discussed about some aspects of emotional intelligence and how it impacts the communication. Today, we will be going as an extension of that to some other areas where our communication is important. So before we begin, I would like each one of you to just mention your name and what is your biggest goal for 2022. इस साल के लिए आपका सबसे बड़ा गोल क्या है और what is your name? If you can just put in a chat box to make it more interactive because videos are not open for everybody. Yeah, everybody. Yeah, home and marriage for Amitava. So everybody, once we participate, that will be better because then we can understand more and we can go deeply into the subject. So your name and your goal in the chat box, goal for 2022. Chat box में आपको लिखना है आपका नाम और आपका 2022 का गोल क्या है. Yeah, Anahita, be happy and make everyone happy. Such a great goal. Yeah, qualify JRF. So with the name, you have to mention your 2022 goal also. Or if the goal nahi hai, so you can write, no goal. As of now, this is still deciding. Okay. So I think you can keep putting in. I'll just share my slides. CO party. No goal. So that is also being right is also fine. No goal. Yeah. So even if you have no goal, that is fine, because at least you are clear on that, it is not there. Great business leader globally, wonderful. Enjoy every moment of life without missing anyone, wonderful. So as we'll begin, as I requested last time, who were all there, that before starting for any new learning, we need to empty our cup. So empty means our cup means we have to make a space for the learning which is going to happen today in next 1 hour or so that we can learn and apply. Why I say so always is because there is a era of distraction. So I will request everybody to, if they are not watching it on mobile, keep their mobile off and be fully focused for the maximum impact of the learning. And why I ask for the goal? Because the way we decide our life for this year or our years to come, it all depends on what are our goals for every year, for every month, for every week. And communication, which we are talking about today, is gives you a very, very clear tool to achieve your goals. So the last tool which we had, the things we discussed was the emotional intelligence. Now we are discussing communication skills. Both these together help in achieving our goals and clarity on that. So I will again take it from the last presentation. 10% of the life is made up of what happens to you. 90% of life is decided by how we respond, react, and communicate. So the communication is very important, that we are not reacting, but we are responding. Responding to people, responding to ourselves, responding to situations. So 90% is on us, not on anybody else. Also, I would like to emphasize this important slide, which is that we are focusing so much on the energy of our laptop, our battery, our mobile phone, but we forget our own battery. When we forget our own battery, what happens is our communication gets distorted, our behavior gets distorted, and our stress goes up. So, come what may, कुछ भी हो जाए, हमें अपनी बैटरी को डिस्चार्ज नहीं करना है. And communication will play a very important role in continuously charging our battery. So don't let this happen to you either, that whenever you discharge, even if you are after a whole day of hard work, smart work, when you go to the sleep, you should be charged 70 to 80%. And this is possible by having a right communication, right emotional intelligence, and right behavior and right mindset. So we talked about our goals, but let me talk about what are the goals of a communication. The communication, as Aina also mentioned in the introduction, is such an important thing for anything and everything. So whether it is to change the behavior of others, that somebody is not working as per our norms, somebody is not following the vision, or somebody is not motivated enough, that to change the behavior, communication is must. Without this, we just cannot do. To get action from our team or our leaders or our colleagues or even from our family, communication is important. To give and get information from each other through email or whether through social media or whether through speaking over phone, this is exchange of information is also a goal of communication. And goal of communication is also to ensure understanding by various stakeholders. And as we are going for a virtual world since last 2-3 years, this has become so important that whether what I am saying other people are understanding or not. And communication skills play a very important role. And last but not the least is to persuade others to achieve the organization objective, organization goals, and organization targets. And also to persuade the various stakeholders which we work in our day-to-day life. So in a communication, you have the important thing is what is the communication process, in which first is the sender, the person who is initiating the communication. And then there is a message. And that message is through various medias. It can be through email, it can be through verbal communication, it can be through writing, through social media. And then we have a channel which we have used for the message, and then it goes to the receiver. So between sender and receiver, there is a message and there is a channel. Both the things are important, and receiver gives you feedback to improve our communication further. So this cycle keeps going always. So today we will be talking about in detail, how to have our communication, the message as well as the channel, effectively persuade receiver to understand us and also help in achieving the goals. So this is the feedback which we get and which further improves our communication. And communication has three aspects, which we have to take care in any communication. One is the verbal, which is not the only speaking, but what is the message we are delivering. Second is the voice, which we convey. So if I'm saying, please give me water. This is very shallow voice. Please give me water. Could you please give me water? I would be obliged if you can give me water. So how we speak also is very important, the tone and punctuation and kind of etiquette we use. And second is the body language. Are we standing firm? Are we making eye contact? All those things. So whenever these three we are important, verbal, vocal, and visual in our body language, in our communication. 99% of the time we focus too much on the message, the verbal, but we do not focus much on vocal and the visual aspect, the body language aspect. So I would like everybody to mention in the chat box who are the stakeholders with whom they have to communicate day to day. किन लोगों से आपका बातचीत होती है, communication होता है during the week, during the month? Just write, is it a customer? Is it your client? Is it something else? Is it your colleagues? किन किन के साथ आपकी बातचीत होती है? Yeah, Geeta Singh is writing farmers, family. Staff. So think, who all are we communicate? Colleagues, students, boss. So if we see there is a superiors and subordinates. When we are in the office or we are in home, we are always communicating, and which is continuously happening. And that is why it needs to be given the importance it deserves. Yeah, relatives, cousins, family members, wife, of course. Yeah, state, wonderful. This is state government officials. House help. Yeah. Just think, you will keep finding more and more stakeholders we speak every day. Vendors, yes, vendors. Yeah. These are some of the, which all you have mentioned is the team members, customers, family, suppliers, government official, and many more. Yeah. So, so when we say that we are communicating with so many people, and that's the reason it's important to be aware of the message and the channel always. So therefore, the communication which we do has to have the 4 C's. First is that it should be very clear communication, concrete communication, courteous communication, and correct communication. So when we say clear, it means it should have who with whom we are speaking, what we are speaking, where is we are speaking, and when we are speaking. So 4 W and 1 H: who, what, where, when, how. So for example, if we say send the material in the afternoon, this is not a clear communication. Send which material? Afternoon, which what time? Which day? Afternoon. To whom to send? Then it will be a clear communication when all the things are taken care of. And we should use the short, familiar, and conversational words. We need not to impress anybody. We have to get our work done. That is the importance of clarity. Second thing is this should be concrete communication. So if there is some report you are asking for, what report you are asking, what facts and figures you want, what data you want from the sender, all those needs to be clearly communicated. Because this loss of energy is too much when we are not clear with each other at what exactly we are asking for. So even if you have to take another 2 minutes, 3 minutes to come and create the message, it's worth it, because the drain of energy will not happen when you are not getting a complete information. And third, it should be a courteous. So courteous means it's not only that you are saying please and thank you, it is also should be coming from the heart. That I am really concerned about you, I really want to help you, or I want this report. Everything has to come from the overall need perspective and our own heart perspective, not always from the head. We have to also talk from the heart, as I discussed in the emotional intelligence part. And if something mistake has happened, there is nothing wrong in apologizing with a good nature, and that always puts you into higher pedestal when you apologize and correct your communication. So always be tactful, thoughtful, appreciative. Put some time and energy prior to communicating, and also when you are sending or receiving. So courteous also means we should not get anger. There is a study has been done in recent times, like in lockdown and in COVID time, pandemic times, that anger has gone up in office and workspaces because of the too much virtual communication, and this always destroys everything. So like you can see this dog, which if he's angry, he will die. So it will not help us. In communication, anger has no role. गुस्से से आपका कोई काम कभी हो ही नहीं सकता, चाहे आप फैमिली से करवाएं, चाहे आप वाइफ से कराएं, चाहे आप स्पाउस से कराएं, हस्बैंड से कराएं, चिल्ड्रन से कराएं. Anger means you are destroying the whole communication despite having all the C's. Because when anger is there, other C cannot be there. It cannot be have clarity, it cannot have a courteousness, it cannot have a concrete information. But anger तो आता ही है सबको. So it will keep coming again and again. Your subordinate may not work as per you. You may not like your boss. You may not like your vendors. You may not like government officials. So instead of destroying your communication, do this. Have a deep breath for 90 seconds. Recognize the difference of opinion. Politely, you say your point of view. Give up the need to be right. And respond, not react. have a compassion with the person. He or she may be going through some other challenges in their life. So let us respect that and have a proper thinking on whom we are dealing with. This helps. Anger doesn't help. Yeah. Everybody agrees? Just say yes. Yeah. Or if anybody is there who can say, anger helps in communication, I would like to learn. Yes, Meenakshi is saying yes. Anger does not help, absolutely. In my 25 years of corporate career, I have seen so many important decisions getting destroyed because one member or other member got angry and things could not move forward. And I have personally also seen a lot of people getting demoted just because this person was not able to control the anger in communication. Yeah. And of course, there's a study, when a spouse between husband and wives, if this anger can be controlled, the relationship can go to a different level of understanding. Also, in our language, we say, this is there's a thing we call it. You should do a kiss communication. So, kiss communication means keep it simple, smarty. Sometimes we say keep it simple, stupid, but the right thing is keep it simple, smarty. So all of you are smart people, so we should keep it simple and courteous, clear, and with the concrete information. Yeah. So always remember KISS. Yeah. Somebody saying artificial anger may help. So I would say artificial anger may not help at all because once we be angry, those emotions get built up uh, in us despite resisting it. And once those emotions get built up, it is harming our hormones. So my personal belief is any kind of anger will not help at all because ultimately you will have those emotions coming in your side and slowly it will become your habit. So while your work may be done, but you may be not helping yourself. That's my humble ambition. बिकॉज एंगर से क्या होता है कि बीता हुआ कल कभी बदला नहीं जा सकता, आने वाला कल हमेशा आपके हाथ में होता है. सो दैट इज वेयर द कम्युनिकेशन हेल्प्स. You have to keep communicating, motivating yourself so that you can control what is coming next moment, next hour, next day. And last but not the least, your communication has to be correct also. Correct means it should have a truthfulness. It should not be something you're lying because it will get caught ultimately. Yeah, so we should be very aware of our credibility. When we are dealing with suppliers, customers, the credibility is what they deal with you, they transact with you. And if any information, whether it's a written or verbal, is wrong, then image of your company, your institute, your organization, and more important, yourself will be in problem because in today's world, anything going wrong in social media can take you to any level. Yeah. So you have seen big brands getting destroyed. So just see the Hyundai fiasco which just happened. One distributor in Pakistan had done something, and then they could have lost the whole market of India if they could not have managed it well. So this is the where it is very important to have a correct picture. Anything wrong post, anything wrong image, anything wrong communication can create a havoc. And as bigger your organization, bigger is the risk. So always check for the correctness of everything, whether it's coming from your staff or you are sending to somebody. This is very important to check for the correctness and credibility. Yeah. once you are signing the information, it means it's thoroughly checked by you. So this sign has a most important value. Each of you who is attending today, your signature has the maximum value. You are all VIPs. So always value your signature. If I am sending it through my signature, through email or through any way, it has to be correct. It should be courteous. It should be clear, and there should not be any ambiguity because I want my position, my credibility not to be hampered. Yeah, first is the relationship is with the person. Second is the relationship with the company. Yeah, so even if your customers are or your students are interacting with you, they are interacting with the person first. Then comes the organization. So many times we forget about the non-verbal communication because now again it's lockup is getting over. People are meeting each other. So again we have to be very cautious of this aspect. Our body language, our eye contact. So when we make eye contact, it should be at the gaze level of the other person. It should not be like this or like this or like this. When you're talking to somebody, it should be at their gaze level. And you need to be totally relaxed and balanced to make a communication easier. And also maintain appropriate distance. In social distancing, of course it is there, but otherwise also in a communication you should have an appropriate distance maintained. And a smile should be there. Yeah. And artificial smile is still okay. Artificial anger is not okay, but artificial smile is okay because that will bring the positive elements, even if you are doing artificial. Yeah, if naturally it's coming, nothing like it. So how can we be more open in our communication, more effective? There's three aspects. One is the empathy, which is the emotional intelligence part, which we discussed last time also. And for the new people who are there today, I will again repeat some of those aspects. Second is the listening. And third is your feedback and questioning. You need to make a right kind of questions. How you are asking the question also impacts the answers. So empathy, listening, and questioning. So what is empathy? We have heard about this a lot. So empathy is primarily the deep appreciation for another situation. So it's also we say, get into his or her shoes and understand the situation. Sometimes we are communicating with somebody who is going through some challenges, personal challenges, and if we are empathize, we will also go deep to that person's heart. Why that person has not done the work or why he has not done to the expectation, because there may be some aspects of challenges. So we need to be understanding. We need to understand the feeling of each other. We should be caring and also have a compassion in the communication. Without compassion and caring and feeling, it will just become like a robotic thing, and results will not be great. So, like this is an example of non-empathetic response. Sometimes we say I'm right because I have reason to prove that. When you're getting into reasons, reason one, reason two, reason three, reason four, and it's an argument. Then argument will start. He or she will also say the reasons, and you will have a very good meeting. And that meeting minutes will be kept, hours will be lost. Yeah. So sometime I joke also, the minutes of meetings. I say, in meeting minutes are being kept, but hours are getting lost. So we should be very productive in all our communication and meetings. We should not be non-empathetic. Empathetic response is primarily when you say, I shall operate out of more understanding, trust, and openness. Be an active listener. This is the golden statement. Seek to understand and then be understood. Seek to understand other person's point of view first, then expect that they will understand you. Many times what we say, this guy has not even understand what I am saying. But have we made attempt to understand what is his or her point of view? That's the way things has to happen. So now empathy, like last time we discussed, there are the 4 aspects of emotional intelligence which has to be used for being empathetic. First aspect, I will just repeat, is the self-awareness. Who am I as a person? Do I know my personality, my feelings, my behavior? And once I know self-awareness, then self-management. I know my feelings, I know my emotions. Am I able to use them for managing myself so that I am professional, so that I am able to handle all the communication? Then comes the social awareness, which is the empathy part, which is, am I able to understand my relationships? Am I able to understand other people's feelings, emotions, point of view? And then you will be expert in relationship management, and which is the ultimate of any communication. So even if you are doing clear communication with courtesy, but if you're not aware of the other's feeling, still it can get distorted. So that's why these 2 areas we are taken together, emotional intelligence and communication, because they go hand in hand. Little imbalance in emotions and feelings, even if you have, suppose many times what happens, we have a fight at office and our relationship at home gets destroyed. Our communication at home gets destroyed because we are taking those along with us. It's because it's the same person. You cannot be different in office. You cannot be different in road. You cannot be different at home. It's the same body, same feeling, same emotion, same thing is going. So that's why these two together make sense. So this is the steps in communicating empathy. First is we listen actively. क्या दूसरा बंदा क्या कह रहा है? What is the point of view of the other person? If any wrong is there, we can apologize. If and if there is help is needed, we need to have a sincere desire to help the other person, always being polite and ask for more inputs if the person is struggling with the project or what we want that person to do as per our communication code. So first is listen actively. Without listening, we just cannot move forward. So now in listening, there's a key aspect is, many times we hear, but we don't listen. तो हम सुन लेते हैं पर उसको लिसन नहीं कहते, हम समझते नहीं. So that's why active listening and passive listening. Active listening is primarily you are paying the attention, you are showing that you are listening, by nodding your head, by asking questions, and also you are providing the feedback to the other person, and you don't judge that person when you are listening actively. Right? Even person has not even started speaking, and if we make judgment about that, we will not be able to understand what that person wants to say. So one is, if somebody is speaking, we should not interrupt them. We should be observant. We should ask more questions and check the understanding if we are not able to understand few aspects. I'm going in detail about these things because these small things I have seen even at a vice president, CEOs level, they are not able to do it despite having such a great experience. That's why each things are so important. Not interrupting is so important. We want to give our point of view so fast, as if that the whole world is waiting for us. But let us listen and understand first. Let the person complete the sentence, then have a little pause, and then ask. So this all will make a communication much more effective, and we will get our results. And once your conversation is over, always check the understanding. So we normally say, as Kishore has just said, or as XYZ has just said, I will just repeat it. So let me repeat what I have understood. This is the way you should end the communication. Let me repeat what we have discussed in last 1 hour and summarize. If there is a gap, let me know. So this will have a no gap between 2 of you or 3 of you or multiple people when you disperse from the meeting. Checking understanding is very, very important. And this is there, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. That nature has also given us 2 ears and one mouth. So we have to listen twice. Yeah. Everybody agree with this? Yes, no? Yeah. Rohit. Yes, Judith. Devraj. So let us also make a commitment to ourselves. Yeah, Bhogender, yes. That we will be listening more today. We'll be listening when you go home, listen more to your spouse, to your children, to your parents. When you are at work, listen more to others. And let me guarantee you, Sneha saying yes, let me guarantee you, when you listen more, people will also listen and respect you more. और आप एक बार ये भी ऑब्जर्व करना आप कितना इंटरप्ट करते हैं फ्रॉम टुडे ऑनवर्ड जस्ट बी वेरी अवेयर दैट जैसे आपका फर्स्ट इंटरप्शन आप करें किसी को जस्ट मेक ए नोट ऑफ इट मेंटली दैट आई हैव इंटरप्टेड लेट मी बी अवेयर ऑफ दैट so once the awareness comes our habit will change slowly. Yeah. And also try to use please complete what you're saying, those kind of things. Yeah. So it will also enhance the respect, self-esteem, as well as make the results better. So ears, there's a full form. This is going slide, which is primarily that you need to explore first. E, A, affirm, R, reflect, and then S is silence. Listen some more. You be silent, listen more. So listen and silent has same letters. Silent and listen has same letters. So when you are silent, you are listening properly. So explore for E, A for affirm, R for reflect, S for silence. This is ears. Many times we get the feedback, but we don't take that feedback very seriously. We say, they are just commenting, they don't like it. No, let's have a proper feedback. You can have a separate session for 10 minutes, that whole project, what is your feedback on my approach? If it's a common project, 4 people are working, you can have a session for half an hour where each person can give feedback to each other person. So X to Y, X to Z, Y to X, those whole combinations can be a very good exercise. And after that meeting, you will come energized because everybody has spoken whatever their point of view was there, what they were thinking. So many times we, as we go up the ladder, we don't give other people option to give a feedback. Feedback always should be, I always use nowadays word called feed forward. So feed forward is a word means it should be forward looking, not for, finding the blames in other person, but based on this feedback, what can we do different going forward? जो हो गया हो गया. So I will also encourage you people to use the word called feed forward. Feed forward means forward looking feedback. Right? Forward looking means where we are thinking about the growth. We are talking about the better profits, better orders, or better performance for each of us. That is the feed forward. Otherwise, blaming and you have not done this wrong, you have not done that wrong. That is not a right way of feedback. And most of the organizations are now adopting feed forward. So then I will talk about the behavior, which is there are 3 types of behaviors which we use in communication. One is we have seen as passive behavior. Passive behavior means we call it we call it you are not even saying your thing. You are not even saying expressing your needs. You are not saying your wants. So it's too much of listening happening and you are not saying your point of view. That is the passive behavior. So this is not a right way. Yeah, Rohit, I'll come to that after the session. So what is very important is to express your beliefs, your feelings, your everything. Communication doesn't mean the other person has to overpower you. Whatever your point of view is, that should be done. In passive behavior, we don't do that. Many times we just remain silent, and despite knowing that our feeling, our want has to be shared. And second, there is a extreme, बिल्कुल opposite direction है. It's the aggressive behavior where we don't yeah, listen to others, we dismiss their point of view, we don't understand their feelings. My way or highway. My way or highway communication is a bully communication, and results will never happen through this. ये एक बार हो सकता है, दो बार हो सकता है, but continuously it cannot happen. So we do not be aggressive also. ऐसा ना हो कि just because of my power, I am a CEO or I am a vice president, I can bully everybody. Your company will not grow, that is for sure. Third is the assertive behavior, which is the right way, which is not the passive, where we are not, not saying anything from our end. And it's also not the aggressive, like not bullying. It's a in between, middle path. That is the right path, where you say for your own rights, and also you do not violate other person's rights. You express your needs, wants, and also listen to others. So we all need to be assertive communicator, not the aggressive, not the passive. And this will take us to a next height, in your personal growth as well as professional. So what are the assertive words? Some of the assertive words which we can try to use today onwards more is, I would like to understand more. I would like to. This is the statement. And give your opinion, not being passive. I think this is the way we can do much more. Let's consider the options. The way, how can we manage the project efficiently? How can we get the grant from the government? Let's consider the options. How can we make students' placement high? Let's consider the options. So this is the assertive words. I would like to hear your view. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि just tell me what is you, I will do it. आप मुझे बता दो मैं कर दूंगा. वो passive है. I also have the brain. Let us discuss mutually and then come out. And once you have given some idea, you ask other people, engage other people. Like somebody has just asked, how to ask for feedback. Always go openly from your end, say, what do you think about it? When you will go openly and ask the question, what do you think about it? You will start getting feedback which can be converted to feed forward. In a group meeting, if there's some thing you are stuck, you say, how can we resolve this together? Be the first one to ask this. Don't wait from others to ask. Once you say that, how can we resolve this? Slowly somebody will say, this is the one more idea. Second, another person will come, and slowly the communication will have help. If somebody is not speaking, some of the member is very silent. सिर्फ अपने काम से काम रखते हैं. We can call them passive also sometimes. So go to them personally and say, what do you think about it, Mr. So-and-so? We have not heard from you. So once you ask 3-4 times, that even introvert person will opening up and you will have a better communication in the organization. Yeah. So be a proactive. The right word is, because we will be proactive, then others will communicate. And this is the difference in leader and follower. Leader is always proactive. So once you have this habit of engaging others, more and more people will see you as a leader also, that who is taking initiative. So there is a very structured approach, we call it, in a assertive communication. One is the, if we have to have some issue to be discussed in our meeting or organization, first, prior to getting into the meeting, we should all discuss individually. And then in the meeting, what is the real problem we are here to solve, or what is the challenge we are facing. Then describe it, in a clearly to everybody. Describe it so objectively, accurately with data using 4C that everybody is understood this is the problem. And then you ask, are we think on it that this is what we are here to discuss for next 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. And then once the discussion happens, you have to express your concerns and how you feel. Don't be passive, be assertive. And then be a proactive by asking other person for his or her perspective. What do you think? आप क्या सोचते हैं? We just cannot take decision unless we have your view also. And that is giving respect to others. And then if nobody is summarizing, you summarize that this is the what we have discussed in 30 minutes, 1 hour, and these are the outcomes. And this is what everybody will do. This is the responsibility. This is timeline. And then you end it with an ideal way. That is why it is known as the ideal framework for assertive communication. Identify the problem, describe it, express your concern, ask the other person, and list the outcome. So the outcome of using this approach will be your results will be faster, you will achieve your goals. This is why I would like to emphasize, the third point, which is the distinguish between fact and opinion. Many times we say our opinion instead of the fact. So when you're saying opinion, you have to say, my opinion on this is that. But don't bring those things together. Because if people are under you, they will assume that it's your order. And if people above you, they will get confused. So your opinion has to be clearly stated. My opinion on this, and then fact is this. And there's another differentiation, which is the ask, don't tell. So ask, don't tell is a thing, even with subordinates, even with the colleagues, even in family, we should always ask. We have no right to tell because no two humans are superior to each other. All humans are equal. So you must have got a position of vice president, CEO, or whatever, but you just have to ask for the support. Don't tell, do this. Could you please help me with this? Even if you are paying 1 lakh salary to somebody, you have to use this. Could you please help me with this? Because this will create a very cordial atmosphere of bonding together. Yeah, and today's generation, you must have seen there may be a lot of participants from millennial generation. Try to tell them, try to, order them, see the result. So this is where we have to be right. Even in home, children's and kids, they do not take orders from anybody like previous generations. And then non-verbally appropriate eye contact, sit firmly, comfortably, openly support their comments, speak in clear manner, tone of voice, and speak in a steady, in a paced manner, emphasizing the key words, and never get angry. And also being assertive, don't say maybe. A lot of people get, if they're not saying maybe, either say yes or no. There's no line in between. There's no gray. Yeah. तो कई लोगों को डिसीजन नहीं लेता होता ना, वो मे बी बोल देते हैं. दैट इज नॉट द राइट वे. मे बी से नथिंग मूव्स फॉरवर्ड. एंड हैव दैट courage to say no. No means no. Don't say maybe means the other person also doesn't know whether you're going to do the thing or not. And neither you are clear nor that other person is clear, and then energy is getting drained. Yeah, can we all agree on this, that from today onwards we will be very clear, yes or no, not maybe to other people? This will save a lot of energy. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, everyone. Personally, also, when somebody says maybe, I just don't know what that person is going to do. So now today you are saying all yes to this answer. It means I am clear. You are all going to practice it. Attitude is everything in communication. Despite all the skills, attitude can destroy the communication. And attitude has very important factor of why am I fearful? मुझे डर क्यों लगता है? क्योंकि जब आपको डर लगेगा आपको कम्युनिकेशन प्रॉपर हो ही नहीं सकता. This nobody will tell in a communication skills training. But I have found it with my experience and dealing with so many people that why are they not communicating assertively? Because of some fear. So in a social fear, you know that there can be social mask fear, what others will think about me, and then your communication gets destroyed because you want to please others. Second is fear of failure. You know, if I communicate clearly, I may fail. Fear of rejection, not being good enough. And you know, if I communicate clearly, people will reject me. And then there is a scarcity mindset. You know, I have not enough. Why to destroy the things? You know, by saying clearly. Needing to control others again is your fear. And many people are fear of successful also. You know, they don't want to be over success because responsibility will come and they have to communicate at a very high level to the highest stakeholders. Yeah, and sometimes there is a fear of illness also. You know that I'm not feeling well. If I communicate, I may not get leaves. I may not get this. You know, so many things are happening at the workplace. So my only request is be fearless. Yeah, choose courage. This is the fifth C I will say in communication: courage, clarity, concreteness, courteous, correct, and courage. Yeah. Why? Because when you are fearful, your communication will get destroyed and you will not be able to make decisions. Problems will not be able to solve. Conflict will not be able to solve. You will not be able to listen to others because you are fearful. How will you listen to others? Yeah. And you will also not view others properly. So your time and energy will get destroyed. Yeah. Does anybody has here, you know, who is not able to communicate because of fears openly? Yeah. So even saying that makes you fearful many times, you know, that I am fearful. This saying that is also is something which helps, which stops us in communicating properly. So now, you know, this is what I will say. The last is that we are dealing with people, friends. हम तो आदमियों से deal कर रहे हैं, but there was an experiment in Japan which was done by Dr. Emoto. He was dealing with water. So when he stand for 1 full day or 2 full day, love to water, the shape become like a diamond of water molecules. There was the actual photograph. And when he says continuously, thank you, you say such a beautiful thing has come from the water molecules. And then when he used I hate you, this whole distorted picture has come from the water molecules. And this has been, you know, recognized by all the big scientific community. You can search on Google also. So what I'm saying is that when water impacts so much with our communication, with our emotion, how can we deal with each other in a different manner? So communication and emotional intelligence has to go to in each of our aspects, whether dealing with children, family, colleagues, and everywhere. Yeah, and even with the plants, I will say we need to communicate. Even with animals, we need to communicate with affection. So we all are like water. Why? Because 70% in each of us is water. So we will get effect like this only. If I don't talk properly to anybody of my colleague or superior, he will have this kind of configuration inside him. I hate you. And then even if he does work for you, he will listen with this feeling. And in the single opportunity, next opportunity, that guy or that lady will be out of the situation. Yeah, Rohit. Indeed, we shape up. So because we have a 70% water, that's why he did a whole experiment for years together on water. And then the conclusion came: if water get affected, same way a human get affected. That's why the communication and emotion understanding is so important. तो जब भी आपके सामने कोई आदमी आए या कोई भी आप कलीग आए, आप सोचो कि इसके अंदर 75% वाटर है, 75% water, and as soon as I have a loving affection, thank you affection, this guy or this person will have a coordinated team with me. Yeah, so this is the very powerful thing. And there was another study done in which they saw that yeah, Emoto was a pseudoscientist. Yes. So so even there was a study done in mental hospitals, and they saw that even most of them have gone there because there was a continuous treatment of "I hate you" with them by themselves and by others, and that's why they got into this kind of diseases also. So as a social person, also our responsibility is to communicate very well with empathy, with clarity, and with all balance of emotions. And and also keep a positive thought. Today is a very good day, also Valentine's Day. So we should keep our thoughts also very positive, because your mind is a garden, your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. It is up to you. Mind your thoughts, think positive, communication automatically will be powerful. And use the 4 C's in your communication. This is where I will end my presentation, right? And anybody has a questions, you can ask. Also, I will say before the question, what is your key two or three key takeaways from today's session? Could you just put in a chat box? What are the key takeaways of today's hour we have spent together? क्या सीखा, क्या पाया, and क्या implement करेंगे? So what is assertiveness? Listen more. Wonderful. Everybody, please, at least one takeaway which you will implement and which you promise as a feed forward. Empathy, Romy is saying, wonderful. Ideal model, Adil is saying, wonderful. Devraj, assertiveness versus aggressiveness. Keshav, to the point, honest communication. You should remain positive. Anger will ruin the absolutely. Feed forward, Romy is saying, yes. Instead of feedback, we'll have a feed forward. 4C. Listen properly before reaction. Active listener, yes. Komal is saying. Shmana is saying assertive behavior. Listen properly. Thank you. Thank you very much. If any questions are there, Aina, I'll be willing to answer. Or
Yes,
anybody.
sir. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. We have a few questions, and if anybody from the participants wants to ask a question, they can send it in the chat box. Sir, I have a question for you that how to incorporate communication skills in personal branding?
Yeah, so personal branding is very important in today's scenario. And in personal branding, I will request everybody, if they want to create a personal brand, use the 4 C's, which is, whatever you're communicating to your audience should be clear and should be courteous, should have a concrete information about you and what is your goal. And that's why I started with the goal. And what is the goal? If you and with the goal you relate your four C's, and then always strive towards and check. Am I achieving my goal through this communication or not? Thank you.
Yes, sir. I don't see any questions in the chat box, so let me ask you one more. How to deal with the situations when others are finding it hard to communicate effectively with you?
Yes, so I answered in the session. Proactively, we have to go to the people and ask them, provoke them. What do you think about it? What's your viewpoint? So being proactive will be engaging others. Yeah.
Right, sir. Sir, as we have seen that the digital age has brought many new ways to communicate, such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and whatnot. So, how do you think that the communication has changed?
So the base of the communication has not changed. This remains you have to be clear and you have to be concise and you have to be courteous. But what has changed is the channel. The channel is now is Twitter is channel, Instagram is channel, your email is channel, your Facebook is channel. So based on that channel, we have to follow the policy of being concise, clear, and correct. I will emphasize the correctness very much nowadays because of so many mediums, because one aspect if we are not correct, that it will get hampered in all the aspects and your personal brand will also get tarnished.
Right, sir. Agree with that. So we have a question in the chat box that is anger management a part of communication or emotional question?
Yeah, so emotional intelligence and communication both are very much linked. Yeah, so as I say, we are like a water. And if you, from the theory perspective, you should never learn anything. That communication skills is a theory where you have a sender, receiver, and a channel and message. With that knowledge, you cannot be a great communicator. You can be a great communicator only when we have a proper understanding of the other person's feelings, emotions. That's why anger management is a part of our emotions, and managing that make you a better communicator.
Right, sir. Right. Uh, So, sir, a lot of people are asking that how to deal with a person who does not want to hear your viewpoint or who uh, has, like, as you mentioned earlier, also, you have to be proactive in that ways. And
Yeah. Ask that person for a feedback meeting.
mm,
You say,
right.
that we are working together for last 2 years. I am
Mm,
very, very keen to understand your feedback about me because I want to improve further. Right? Once you say, you want to improve and you are asking him or her as a help, then person will come and speak. So invite them a proper feedback session and say, I want to understand and improve myself. So suppose I may invite, Aina, I'm working with you since last 2 years.
right,
Could
sir.
you spend half an hour with me where I want to improve further and understand your
Hmm.
viewpoint? Then
Right,
person will speak. You have to be polite.
right. One more question for you, sir. So, do you think that communication is a pivot under every or most of the circumstances in a corporate setting?
Uh, yes, in corporate settings or non-corporate setting, communication is pervasive, omnipresent, everywhere. So
Right.
starting from your morning, when you say good morning or happy morning, and till they say you good night to your family members, communication is everywhere.
Right, sir. So we have one more question in the chat box. One of the panelists have asked that they get students from different backgrounds and different level of skills. So how can they align with them effectively?
You get students from different backgrounds and different levels of skills. How can we align with this effectively?
Right,
Yeah. So one is, of course, their background and their culture has to be understood by the senior people. That they are coming from the which culture background. But once they are there, we need to have a start the communication with a simplistic language which is understood by everybody. So one way is, that how do you have a huddle, a 5 minute huddle with everybody together and ask them for a opinion on a simple matters, like office policy, like what kind of canteen food should be there. And then once the team is there, then the communication gap can be handled. first is to create a team, an organism team. Team is, together everyone achieves more. So,
Right, sir.
so what are the minimum denominator in which we can have all of them together? It can be a matter of office policy. It can be matter of food. It can be matter of, who should wear what, dress code, everything. So on those, ask opinion, send emails to them, send communication to them for asking their opinion. And once they're participating in opinion, then we can take it to the next level. Yeah, it's a
Right,
difficult scenario because of the cultural background of our country.
right, sir.
Yeah.
Agree with you. Agree with what you say, sir. One more question that we have in the chat box is like if your near dear ones are sad or upset because they do not communicate with anybody, so how can we help them?
Your near dear ones are sad and absent, painful because of some personal situation. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So here is the awareness part. Asking them openly that I want to hear and listen to you. So here the only 2 years, no speaking, because if somebody personal is upset, the way you will send your opinion, never give your opinion, never tell them to do anything, always ask them and also listen to them and slowly appreciate them. In this situation, many times they are not appreciated even in family atmosphere. So appreciate any small good work done. Suppose if they are not able to organize and they have done little organization in their room, just go to them and congratulate them, right? And so every small thing you have to appreciate. From the appreciation, it will move
Right.
forward to a communication.
Appreciate for small things, sir.
Yeah, small things to because that member is already upset, and if you
Hmm.
ask, do this, that, do that, they will not take instructions. So you have to be very
Absolutely right, sir.
empathetic, and appreciation is the way to start the communication. Even in office, I'll say, just congratulate for small wins. किसी ने छोटा सा order लेके आया है या किसी student ने अच्छा perform किया है या थोड़ा सा better perform किया, just congratulate them. Also, in last company, I had done one practice, where we had done a thank you day. In a thank you day, what happens is everybody has to give card of thank you to each other in the organization for which they are thankful to that person. So they will find a good thing about the other person because that is the event.
Such a nice practice, sir. Such a nice
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah. So,
So
so thank
one
you.
last question that I would like to ask you that how to make our attitude more positive when we market our ideas to others?
Mhm. How to make our attitude more positive.
Like how if we are promoting one of our ideas and we are explaining it to somebody, how can we sound more positive about it and how can we reaffirm ourselves as well?
Yeah, so basically you want to persuade others for your idea, and when you are persuading others, I will say before sending your ideas, you have to ask them for a opinion on that. So go
Hmm.
as somebody, that this idea is there. What is your opinion? What is your viewpoint? Don't go for idea that you have already decided the idea and it has to be implemented. Then people will resist. Once you involve them from the day one, that this is what we want to do, and have a 3-4 meetings together or discussion or Zoom meetings, and then circulate the final idea.
Hmm.
कभी भी top down approach काम नहीं करती. It should be bottom up.
Right.
That everybody wants to own the idea that this is my idea. So you as a leader give the ownership to everybody. It's not my idea, it's yours idea.
Right,
आप
sir.
लोगों का idea मैं implement कर रहा हूँ. आपको तो company को progress करना है ना. That's the reason.
Very true, sir. I don't see any more questions in the chat box, so I think we are good to conclude the session here today. And I wholeheartedly thank Kishore sir for conducting a two-part series with us and helping us understand how effective communication can be an essence for a person's behavior, for a person's attitude, and how why is it very important to be an emotionally strong person for your personal as well as for your professional growth. So thank you so much, Kishore sir, for both of the sessions. Wonderful. Both of the sessions were wonderful, and we had a great learning experience with you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ASSOCHAM. Thank you, Aina. Thank you, Raghav. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, all the
Thank you so much,
participants.
sir.
And I thank all the participants for attending both of the sessions. Thank you so much. We look forward to your positive support in the future as well.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Namaskar.